Using accurate sign changes when using a lightboard is extremely critical. Not only do you want to get the right person who is speaking, but this could also cost you a test if you get the wrong sign change, because a misidentified speaker would be -5. So I'm going to go over our lightboard and what sign changes to use. First, we have the court. So if you notice under the light, there's a C there for the court. Then we have P for plaintiff attorney. We have W for witness and D for defense. Now we have different sign changes for each speaker up there. So I'm going to be going over each one of these. And again, for any state test, they will mark you off -5 if you have the wrong speaker. So it's really important that you get these down. Okay, and you also don't want to hesitate, because then that will cost you, test words. You may fall behind, especially when you get into the higher speed. So it's very critical that you get these down. And I will be providing a lightboard drill down at the bottom, and this will have a low speed lightboard drill, mid speed lightboard drill, and a high speed lightboard drill. Okay, so let's start off with the court. Now the court, when you sign in the court, you are going to sign in as what I call SNU and if pelt. Okay, so basically what that is you are using all of the upper bank of keys, all the upper bank row of keys with your right and your left hand. So that's going to be the initial side and the final side, along with all of the vowels. So that means you're using every finger on your left and your right hand. You're striking that. So what you will see when you strike that, you will see the STPH on the initial side, the AO, and then the EU on the vowel bank down below, and then FPLT over on the right side, which is the final side. Okay, so you're striking those all at the same time. STPH, AO, EU, FPLT. That is how we sign in the court. And that is always going to be the court sign in. So it doesn't matter what the court says, who he talks to, it's always going to be all of those keys struck at the same time. Okay, then we have plaintiff attorney. We like to call plaintiff attorney Mr. SNU. And the reason why we call him SNU is because we're using the initial side. We're striking the STPH and then the AO down at the bottom of the vowel bank. So it's strictly just SNU. STPHAO, and that is going to be your plaintiff attorney. Okay, Mr. SNU, that's what we like to call him. Then we have the witness. Now, the witness is going to be the answer sign. Okay, and that's going to be over on the final side. You're going to strike FRPBLGTS. And that is striking all of those keys with your right hand, and you're striking the cracks there with your right hand, the crack on the right side, because you're striking the upper and the lower case letters. So that when you strike that, you're going to see FRPBLGTS, all on the right side. That's our answer sign, okay? When the witness is answering a question from the questioning attorney, that's what we're striking. Now, there are going to be times when we're going to strike WNS in colloquy, but I'm going to go over that in just a minute. I don't want to overwhelm you with why we have a different sign change for the witness, so we'll hold off on that. Okay, so let's move over to defense. Now, defense attorney, we call him Mr. Ifpelt. Okay, Ifpelt. That's what we call him. And that's actually FPLT, and we're using our right hand on the final side. So we've got the vowel bank, just the EU down below, using our right thumb, and then using all of our fingers on the right hand, FPLT. So that's why his name is Mr. Ifpelt. Okay? So you just strike IFPLT when you are signing in defense attorney. So you want to always keep the same attorney sign changes. You don't ever want to mix them up with anything else, because it just helps to make those sign changes quicker. If you know that the plaintiff attorney is SNU and defense attorney is IFPELT, there's no question about that. And as you move through speeds and it gets faster, then you are going to know how to sign them in, and there's not going to be a hesitation. So I really encourage you, even as a working reporter, I keep the same sign changes. I always know my plaintiff attorney is SNU, my defense attorney is IFPELT. And I do have other sign changes if there's more than one plaintiff attorney or more than one defense attorney, but we'll talk about that at a later time, because in school you won't have to worry about, more than one plaintiff attorney or more than one defense attorney, okay? Okay, so let's go back now. I want to give you just a question sign. There's going to be times when you're going to have the plaintiff and the witness questioning and answering, meaning just Q&A, back and forth. And there's going to be times when you're going to have the defense questioning and the answer is the witness is going to be giving an answer. So we call that Q&A. And it doesn't matter if it's the plaintiff questioning or the defense questioning. It's still going to be the same question signing in for that questioning attorney. Okay, so regardless if it's the plaintiff or the defense, so I'm just going to use plaintiff for this example. When you sign in just a QA, the question, it's going to be the cracks with your left hand. That's going to be STKPWHR. And that's done with your pinky, ring, middle, and index finger on your left hand. And that's going to be what we call the question sign. And again, it could be defense. Even though defense is over on that right side of the Lightboard, we're still using that same sign change to sign them in as the question. Okay, that initial STKPWHR. Okay, that's what we call the question sign. Okay, so you're going to strike that with the cracks of your left hand, and the only thing that's not being used is your left thumb, because that's down, kind of resting down at the bottom there by the vowels, and we don't use that for the question sign. Okay, so that is our question sign change. And then I gave you the answer sign change again, which is over on the right side, the final side, EFER, PB, LGTS, all of those. And again, that your right thumb is not doing anything. It's just kind of hanging out there. Okay, now there are going to be times when you're going to want to sign in the witness as what we call witness. Now, it kind of depends on the software that you have. If you have the Total Eclipse, that software knows when colloquy is going on. So you can always just sign the witness in as the answer sign, which is over what I just said on the final side. Okay, but if you don't have, Total Eclipse and you have another type of software, then whenever there is colloquy, and when I say colloquy, I'll give you the meaning of colloquy. Colloquy is when parties are speaking to one another, meaning it's not Q&A. So whether it could be when the court is talking to an attorney, or two attorneys are speaking to one another, or maybe an attorney interrupts the questioning attorney and just wants to verify something, and he asks the witness a quick question. That's what we call colloquy. Okay, so whenever there's colloquy, because we want it to look a certain way in the transcript, we want it to show up as the witness when there's colloquy going on. What we do is we strike initial W, final NS twice, which we say witness. So if you strike initial W, final NS twice, you're going to get the witness. But if you want to take that out and just always sign in the witness, no matter if it's colloquy or not, even if you don't have Total Eclipse, you can just sign him in as, or the witness as, the answer bank. And that way, when you go to transcribe a test, if you know that it's colloquy, you can take that A, because if you strike the answer bank, you're going to get an A, and you can change that to the witness when you're editing your test. You'll have 2 hours to do this. You have time. You might as well, that's the way I look at it. You might as well change it to colloquy, the witness, when you're in the edit mode. And to me, it always seemed like it helped so that I could write faster as a student if I didn't have to worry about whether or not it was colloquy or if I needed just an A. So that is my advice on that. So you can do it. You can always strike witness, witness if you want it just to turn out the witness. But if you want to just always sign in the witness as answer sign, then you can always change it when you're in the edit mode after you've taken your test on your machine and you've got the time to transcribe it and edit that. Okay, so those are the sign changes for the speaker identification. And again, even if you are somewhat comfortable, I still recommend that you go in maybe once a week and go over and listen to that recording of the drill with just the sign changes. And that way you're staying familiar with it, you're still keeping up with it, and you're only going to get faster. So there's going to be a drill for lower speeds, mid speeds, and high speeds. So it never hurts. You can never practice that too many times. Okay, so that is your information for speaker identification. Now that we have gone over different types of sign changes for the different speakers, I want to give you an example from a couple of transcripts. We're going to start off with a basic Q&A format. If plaintiff is questioning and it's strictly going back and forth between the plaintiff and the witness, again, you're going to strike your question bank, initial S, TK, PWHR. So you will strike those keys and then proceed with the question. Would you please tell us your full name for the record? Okay, and you're not writing this, you're just listening here. Now, the answer. So the way you're going to identify that answer is by striking the final FR, PB, LG, TS, all at the same time. So you're going to strike your answer, and then whatever this person says, Pam S. Miller. Now, there's no need to strike any ending punctuation because the software will do it for you. Okay, then if it goes back to question, again, strike your question bank. Initial S, TK, PWHR. Strike those keys at the same time. Is it Miss or Mrs. Miller? Again, you don't need to put any ending punctuation in, okay, because the software will do that for you. And then you're going to strike your answer bank again. Final FR, PB, LG, TS. It is Ms. Miller. Okay, and that is basically how you are going to sign in the Q&A for a transcript that is strictly Q&A, back and forth Q&A. And the same goes if defense were questioning. It doesn't matter if it's plaintiff or defense, you're going to still use the same question. Initial S, TK, PWHR. Okay, question. Ms. Miller, did you see Henry Decker on May 18 of this year? And then you're going to strike your answer bank because the witness is lit up and he's giving an answer, he or she. Okay, so again, final FR, PB, LGTS, your answer bank. Yes, sir, I did. Okay, and so forth, back and forth. So that's your basic Q&A format. Okay, now let's go into a little bit more of a colloquy type of format. I'm going to kind of explain to you what you would do with more of a what we call four voice example. Four voice meaning there's four people speaking. We've got the plaintiff, the witness, the court, and the defense. That's four people. So that's why we call that four voice format. Okay, now let's say we start with the court. So again, you're going to use your court signal, which is going to be all of your upper bank keys along with all of the vowels. You're leaving those bottom keys alone. So you're using your STPHAOEUFPLT. Use the bottom bank, leave that bottom bank alone, okay? So you see the court's lit up, so you're going to strike the court sign change. Appearances, please. Okay, so then the plaintiff comes in. So we have to sign him in. Now, he's not questioning, he's simply talking to the court, which we call colloquy. You're going to sign him in as SNU, okay? STPHAO. So you strike that, and then you write what he says. Robert Smith appearing for the people, Your Honor. Okay? And then you're going to strike the defense attorney because that is lit up, which we use as IFPLT, EUFPLT, over on the final side. Okay? Susan Bell appearing for defendant Wells. Okay, then it goes back to the court. So you're going to sign in the court. Call your first witness, Mr. Smith. Okay, so now, even though you know his name is Mr. Smith, you're not signing him in as Mr. Smith. Okay, you're signing him in as the plaintiff attorney, which is SNU. Okay, STPHAO. The people call Officer Joseph Sands to the stand. Okay, then it goes back to the court. Sign in the court. Please state your name and spell it for the record. Okay, so now the witness is speaking, but this is still colloquy because he's speaking to the court. So you have the choice, okay? You can either sign him in as initial W, final NS, witness, or if you don't want to think about it and you just want to use the final, the answer bank, you can do that, the final FR, PB, LGTS, and then when you go in to edit that, you would change that to the witness instead of the A for the answer. That's up to you. If you have Total Eclipse, it will do that for you. So then you can just strictly strike the answer bank. Okay, that's the nice thing about that. Okay, so he's giving his name, Joseph Albert Sands, SANDS. Now, the plaintiff attorney jumps right in and starts his questioning. So this is where you're going to strike SNU question. Okay, SNU, because you're identifying that it is the plaintiff attorney. You need to identify him. Otherwise, you're not going to know, did the plaintiff attorney start or did defense? Even though usually the plaintiff always usually starts, but you never know. It could be a transcript where we're jumping in the middle of the transcript and maybe the plaintiff already asked his questions. So you always have to sign in who is speaking. That's very important. If you have a sign change or the wrong speaker, that's -5. So that could cost you your test. Okay? All right, so you're going to sign in here, SNU, but we also have to add, after SNU, we have to sign in question bank. Okay? Again, which is going to be initial STKPWHR. So SNU, lift up, and then strike your question bank. Okay? Now, he goes right in. Good afternoon, Officer Sands. How long have you been a police officer? Then we've got our answer. So you're going to strike your answer bank because now he's just strictly answering the questioning attorney's question, which is just the answer bank. Final FR, PB, LGTS. Okay, answer. I have been an officer since 2009. Okay, now we already know it's the plaintiff that's questioning, so you can simply strike just the question bank because we already know that plaintiff is the questioning attorney. And by whom are you employed? Answer, the city of San Diego. Again, question, we know it's still the questioning attorney. The only time you have to re-sign him in is if he gets interrupted by the opposing counsel or by the court. Okay, otherwise you can just keep it Q&A. Did you overhear a conversation between Defendant Wells and an informant? And then answer, you need to sign in your answer, very important. Okay, sometimes people forget to sign in that answer and they go right in from the question to the answer, and that's going to be -5 because it's a missed sign change. Okay, I was told by the informant of a conversation between the two of them wherein the defendant stated he was in possession of several grams of, he gets cut off. Okay, now defense jumps in because he's going to object. So you have to sign him in as IFPLT, EU final FPLT. Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. Okay, then the court comes in. So you want to sign in the court. Overruled. You may continue. Okay, now plaintiff comes back in and he starts questioning again, but he got interrupted, so we have to sign him in again. SNU. Then the question, bank. Okay. What did the informant tell you? Okay. Answer bank. He told me that there was going to be a drug bust. Okay, and then let's say plaintiff comes in and says, thank you, I have nothing further. Basically, he at that point is talking to the court saying, thank you, I don't have any further questions. So all you have to do is sign him in as SNU. Thank you, Your Honor, I have nothing further. And then let's say it goes over to defense attorney and he starts questioning. Sometimes the court doesn't always have to say, counsel, do you have any questions? He may just jump in and start questioning. If he does that, you want to sign him in as IFPELT question bank. Okay. How long have you been an officer? I didn't get that earlier. And then we've got our answer. I have been an officer since 2009. Okay. Then we've got now. We already know that defense is now questioning, so you simply have to strike the question bank. Okay. Which is going to be your initial STKPWHR. Strike your initial on that initial side, question bank. Okay. Have you always been in the city of San Diego? Answer bank, yes, I have. And again, you only have to sign him in as the question bank because we know that defense is questioning. The only time you have to re-sign him in is if he gets interrupted by plaintiff attorney or the court. Okay. Now, let's say you, for some reason, forget to sign him in as, let's say you sign him in as defense question, but it's already Q&A, going back and forth. That's okay. As long as you know that's defense attorney, you can always take out the colloquy line, so to speak, when you're in the edit mode. You can take out that colloquy line, okay? So that's not a terrible thing. If you accidentally sign him in as, IFPELT question and he's already questioning, you can simply edit that when you're in the edit mode, okay? So the most important thing is that you do get your sign changes in because you want to always know who is speaking. So you never want to leave that out because you don't want to get the wrong speaker in there. Okay, so that is the overall instructions on the 4-voice formatting example.